Suze, it's Miss Whitmarsh here for today's maths lesson. Today we're in my kitchen because we're going to be looking at volume and capacity. Now I have got quite a lot of things for this lesson, but you can just watch or you can join in if you've got these things at home too. Now I've got some water because we are going to need to use this later. I've got various different containers. I've got some cups and some vases, glasses of different sizes, and I've also around my house found some different containers with liquid in that will have measurements on them. So if you've got those, you can get some and you'll see how we're going to use them in the video soon. We've got some key words in today's lesson. We're going to be looking at volume, which is the space the liquid takes up in the container, and we're going to be looking at capacity, the amount of liquid required to fill a container. Usually that's in litres or millilitres. We're also going to be using some comparing language, like words like most, least, less than, greater than, more than. You could do this at home with your own containers, or you can use the picture on the screen. Can you compare the water of the three containers? Which container has the most water? Now when you're comparing, you might want to use words like most, least, less than, greater than, or more than. And to check, you're going to want to have a container which you can check the volume of water in. So for example, if I was to get container A, I could tip my water in and I could see how much is in here. Now I can use the measurements on my measuring jug, or I can have, if I've got more than one of these, I could have all three lined up so I can see how much is in it. And then I can check my next container. So here's B, and I'm just checking to see how much is in each by measuring them. So I might use something like the volume of the water in container A is the most. The volume of water in C is less than A. Have a go, see what you can come up with. So we've compared using our vocabulary, now we're going to have a look at comparing it using units. I'm not going to do each container, I'm going to do one, and then there's an activity time for you that if your grown-ups let you use water, maybe do it outside, you'll be able to have a go too. So I have container C with the water in, and I've got two of these cups that are the same. I've only got two that are the same, and you do want to use the same container when you're measuring. So I'm going to pour the water in, and this will be 1 unit. So I've got a full glass of water there. So at the moment I've got 1 unit of water, and I'm going to fill the other one. And now my vase is empty and I've got another full glass. So that means the volume of water in container C is 2 units. If we have a look at our... For the activity time, I want you to ask your grown-up first, and it would be better if you probably can do it outside because it might get very wet. You're going to need lots of different containers and a plastic cup that you can use as your unit. You're going to fill each container using your cup as your unit guide. Then you can see which one holds the least or the most amount of water. Remember, you're finding the capacity of each container. So now we're going to have a look at standard units. When we measure capacity, we use the standard units litres or millilitres to measure how much liquid is in our container. Around your house with a grown-up, you might find lots of different containers with labels on them telling you how much liquid is in them. So for example, I've got my orange juice here, and if I look at the label, I can see that it says 1 litre, and I've nearly finished my juice bottle now, but if I have a look, I can see that that says 1.75 litres. So that's got quite a lot of liquid in it. And I've also got some different containers with millilitres in. So this is my makeup remover water. That's got 500 millilitres. I've got some bubble bath, and that also has 500 millilitres. But then I've also got some containers which hold a lot less. So here's some vanilla extract that you might put in your baking, and it's actually only got 38 millilitres of liquid in it. So you could have a look and see if you can find any. Then you can check these by measuring them. So when we look at capacity, it is a type of measure, and you might use a measuring jug. I'm not sure how clear it will be for you on the video, but on my measuring jug, I've got all my measurements, so I can see how many millilitres of water or liquid my container might hold. Now this one goes all the way up to 2,000 millilitres. Did you know that 1,000 millilitres is the same as 1 litre? So if I was to have 2 bottles of my bubble bath, I could fit that into 1 bottle of orange juice. So now you might want to go and have a practice yourself. There's 3 different activities here. The first one, you can get a measuring jug and measure different liquids, reading the scale. You could just get some water and practice reading it when you've put the water at different levels. You could draw or write that straight into your book. On our website, I've put 2 different challenges. There's an I know what to do challenge where you've got to read how much liquid is in the measuring jug and write down the unit. And then there's a challenge me where there's some capacity word problems, so it might use some addition and subtraction in there as well. Enjoy and have fun, and I'll see you all soon.